My wife, Clara, claimed she was a severe germaphobe. She refused to kiss me. She even made me wear a surgical mask to bed. I loved her, so I went along with all of it. Then I found out it was all a lie. She wasn't a germaphobe. She was just saving her kisses, exclusively for her childhood best friend. She'd maxed out my credit cards, buying him a mountain of gifts, then shot me a dirty look when I saw the receipts. What are you staring at? Fine. I got you something too. She tossed a package at me. It's a whole pack of masks, the breathable kind. Since she was so deeply in love with him, I figure I should just get out of the way and let the two lovebirds be together. But when I tried, she wouldn't have it, begging me not to leave her. I was rushing from work, heading to the assisted living facility to see my mother-in-law. Margaret had taken a bad turn, and her mind wasn't always clear. The facility had good staff, but I still made a point to visit every day after my shift. Today I could only stay for a little while. I had a freelance project to grind on tonight. Clara's Black Friday shopping spree had been epic. She'd maxed out my Visa, my Amex, and run up a huge tab on Afterpay. If I didn't pull in some extra cash, we'd be eating ramen for the next month. After a walk around the garden, Margaret's mood had brightened. The elderly get lonely. Just having family around is the greatest comfort. But Clara hated visiting. She couldn't stand the smell of hospitals and care facilities, she said. She wouldn't visit her own mother more than once or twice a month. As Margaret and I headed back inside, I heard Clara's voice echoing down the hallway. Where's my mom? What's taking her so long? Probably just out for a walk, a man's voice replied. It was her childhood best friend, Jason Ward. She should be back soon. Just then, a custodian pushing a cleaning cart accidentally bumped into Clara, knocking her off balance. She stumbled and fell right into Jason, her mouth landing squarely on his chin. As the custodian stammered apologies, the two of them pulled apart, flustered. Jason's eyes were soft, almost shimmering. Clara, he murmured, your lips, they still feel the same. Unforgettable. A blush crept up Clara's neck. I told you, she whispered. You'll always be the only one for them. Jason looked genuinely shocked. Seriously. You and Ryan have never kissed in all these years. Clara's expression was one of pure pride. Never. I don't let him. Even when we're intimate, I make him wear a mask. I wear one too, just to make sure we don't accidentally touch lips. Jason's face lit up with pure joy. He pulled Clara into a tight embrace and planted a long, tender kiss on her forehead. You really do still love me. I'll always love you, Clara. Always. Watching them, the floor nearly gave out from under me. All these years I played the fool, wearing a mask like some kind of clown, because she told me she had a crippling phobia. I loved her, so I respected her boundaries. But in her heart, what the hell was I? A placeholder. A wallet. Clara's father had cheated on her mother and left them when she was young. Margaret, raising Clara alone, had spoiled her rotten. Clara had never lifted a finger in her life. Everything was handed to her on a silver platter. I did all the cooking, all the cleaning. She never worried about a single household chore. She was so lazy, she wouldn't even lift her feet. When I was mopping the floor, she'd just order me around. I believed that loving someone meant loving all of them, so I accepted her flaws. It was how she was raised after all. But that all changed when Jason moved back from his job overseas. Suddenly, my delicate princess was getting her hands dirty. She was scrambling to find him a rental apartment, learning new recipes to cook for him, even helping him with his chores. She was constantly checking in on him, running over to his place at the drop of a hat. The one time I voiced a little displeasure, she blew up at me. Why are you so disgusting? Why do you have to make everything so dirty? He's my best friend. We're basically brother and sister. It's my duty to help him right. That kind of brother and sister. I swallowed my rage and the ache in my chest, and continued helping Margaret back to her room. The lovebirds finally noticed us approaching. Clara instantly sprang out of Jason's arms. She rushed over to Margaret, acting as if nothing had happened, and immediately started blaming me. Ryan, where did you take my mom? You had us waiting here forever. I was seeing red, wanting nothing more than to smash both their faces in. So I didn't answer. She helped her mother to the edge of the bed, then knelt and pulled a file from her purse. Mom, the developers called me today. They said, we can get 2 smaller condos instead of 1 big one, if we pay the difference. I already agreed, so I brought the papers for you to sign. You're the primary owner, so your signature is required. Years ago, Margaret had been drowning in debt and was forced to take out a second mortgage. on her apartment. When she couldn't make the payments, the bank was about to foreclose. Clara and I had just started dating. She came to me in tears, begging me to help, saying she couldn't bear to lose her family home. So I used every cent of the inheritance my dad left me, plus all my own savings to pay off her mortgage and save the property, because I'd spent everything on it. Margaret had wanted to sign the apartment over to me, but Clara wouldn't let her. She said we were about to get married, that there should be no mine or yours between us. I believed that true love didn't involve keeping score. And besides, I'd lost my own mother young and craved that maternal affection, which Margaret gave me freely. So without a second thought, I agreed. Recently, the old building had been bought out by developers for a new project, which coincided with Margaret's health declining. Clara and I had moved into a rental. Now seeing a confused Margaret fumbling with the pen, I stepped forward. Clara, what is this? I spoke to the developers. They said we can get a large 3-bedroom condo in a new building with no extra cost. We could bring your mom home to live with us. Once she's better, why are you choosing 2 small units? Clara shot me a venomous look. It's mom's property, what's it to you? You're just a son-in-law. I'm the daughter. You have no legal claim here, so you don't get to say. Jason chose that moment to chime in. Hey Ryan, it's all good. Clara said I could stay in one of the condos for a while. But don't worry, I'll pay Mrs. Carter rent. Of course. Oh Jason, Mom doesn't need your rent money. Clara cooed, her voice softening. Our families were neighbors for so long. We grew up together. Talking about money is just so awkward. If your dad hadn't sold the house and moved you all abroad. Maybe. Now her voice trailed off, her eyes glistening with a sad nostalgia. I had bankrupted myself to save this place. For years I was the one supporting this family. Every month, after paying for our expenses and Margaret's care, the rest of my paycheck went straight to Clara. And now with this real estate deal, I didn't even have a voice. She was going to give the property I bled for to her shady best friend. I was about to argue when my phone rang. It was the client for my side gig. Desperate for the money, I had to leave. As I walked out, I saw Margaret under pressure, signing the document. I'm warning you. Don't submit that paperwork, I said to Clara. We don't have the money to pay the difference for 2 units. Then go borrow it. Get a loan. What good is a man who can't even come up with money for a property deal, who still lives off his mother-in-law? Clara, have you no shame? I snapped. I have to get to work. I don't have time for this nonsense. I turned and left. The client was demanding. I pulled an all-nighter finishing his proposal. Thankfully, the next day was Saturday, so I could finally get some sleep. When I stumbled home exhausted, Clara was standing at the door, arms crossed, glaring at me. You were out all night. Where were you? I looked at her coldly. What do you think, making money? Where else would I be? Her tone softened abruptly. Fine, go get some sleep. I already submitted the paperwork for the 2 condos. We're going to need a lot of money to cover the difference. You know, you'd better work harder. As tired as I was, I went to the kitchen first. My stomach was a mess, and I wanted to make a smoothie to settle it. On the stove, a pot of chicken soup was simmering. Just then the doorbell rang. A delivery driver stood there with an armful of packages. After signing for them, Clara sat on the floor by the door, tearing them open one by one. She pulled out several men's coats, a fancy electric razor, sweaters, and a bunch of new small kitchen appliances. Why'd you buy all this stuff? I asked. We already have appliances, and it's not like you ever cook or clean. And what's with the men's clothes? Are those for me? They're for Jason. He just moved back. His rental is completely empty. I got it all for him. While the Black Friday sales were on, I noticed he needed new clothes too, and it was such a good deal. Oh, by the way, can you check the chicken soup on the stove? Make sure it doesn't burn. Jason has a sensitive stomach. He can't have anything scorched. Hush, he never bought me a single article of clothing, let alone made me chicken soup. She saw me just standing there motionless and looked up. My face must have been a thundercloud, because she finally seemed to register my fury. She forced a smile. I got something for you too. See, I bought a lot of masks. They're the breathable kind. They should be much more comfortable for you. Were you always complaining about how uncomfortable the old ones were? When will you know? See, I'm always thinking of you. In that instant, I felt something in me ignite. The thought that she made me wear those masks just to preserve her kiss for Jason. I wanted to set the entire box on fire. I forced myself to stay calm, grinding my teeth. Right. You probably bought them for yourself. You're the one who always insists on wearing them. Since you love them so much, you can have them all. Clara's anger flared. What's with that attitude? I couldn't take it anymore. My upbringing kept my hands at my sides. But my heart was dead. I was done with this cold, ungrateful woman, Clara. I said, my voice flat and final. Let's get a divorce. Clara didn't even look up from the pile of packages. She was sorting. Have you lost your mind, or is your brain just full of crap? My voice was ice. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Let's get a divorce. There's no point in being together anymore. She finally stopped what she was doing, stood up and studied me carefully. What is your problem? Why are you suddenly acting crazy? You don't just throw the word divorce around. Our life is fine. Why would you want a divorce? I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. Is my life fine, Clara? Or is it just that your life is great? I listen to you. I love you. I bend over backward to make sure you're never unhappy. And what do I get in return? Do you have any real feelings for me at all? Search your heart and tell me. She rolled her eyes. Ryan, what is wrong with you? Are you jealous of Jason again? Can you be any more petty? I've told you 1,000,000 times. We're childhood friends. We grew up together. We're closer than brother and sister. It's normal for us to be close. Fine, you two can be as close as you want. I'm done. I'm not big-hearted enough to watch my wife give everything we have to another man. Since your heart is so full of Jason, why don't you do us both a favor and just divorce me? She was furious. Now you're being completely irrational. Her phone rang, a perfectly timed interruption. She glanced at the screen and answered immediately. Hello, Jason, what's wrong? Is it an emergency? Her voice was laced with panic. What, your stomach hurts again? Okay. Just lie down and stay put. I'm on my way. I made you that chicken soup. You'll feel better after you have some. She hung up, rushed into the kitchen, and reappeared a moment later holding a thermos of soup. She was already out the door before she paused. No wonder she'd insisted on finding him a rental in our same apartment complex. It made it so convenient for her to run over and take care of him. After pressing the elevator button, she turned back and yelled at me from down the hall. You stay here and think about what you've done. I'm letting this go today, but don't you dare pull this again, or I'll get really mad. The elevator doors opened and she was gone. I waited a few minutes, then called her. What do you want? She snapped. Clara, I'm telling you one last time, I want a divorce. I've already packed my bags. I'm moving out today. You can pay the rent on this place yourself from now on. I don't have time for your nonsense. I'm hanging up. She was so focused on Jason that she must have fumbled with her phone, because she didn't. In the call, I could hear their conversation clearly. Jason, what's wrong? Why are you throwing up? Here, lie back down. Let me help you. Clara, what's going on? Was it your husband on the phone? Is he demanding you go back? It's okay, you should go. I'll be fine on my own. He's having a fit. Don't worry about him. He's just jealous of you. He's a grown man acting like a child. It's so annoying. And now he's threatening me with divorce. As if that would scare me into doing whatever he wants. It's not good for this to affect your marriage. You can't get a divorce because of me. I'd feel so guilty. Of course we can't get a divorce. The condo deal isn't finalized yet. We have to pay a big chunk of money to get them. He has to raise that money for me. Clara wasn't just selfish. She was inhuman. She was on a bleed-me-dry fine. Let's see what tricks you have up your sleeve. I called one of those. We buy everything junk removal companies. I told them to come over immediately. I sold them every single thing in that apartment. That was worth a dime. And I grabbed my suitcase and walked out without looking back. It wasn't long, of course, before my phone started blowing up with calls and texts from Clara. I ignored them. I was busy cleaning my new small rental apartment. Once I had everything set up, I finally answered one of her calls. Ryan, you bastard, she shrieked. Why are you just now answering? I called you 100 times. Are you insane? I came home and thought we've been robbed. But the neighbors said you sold everything. What are you trying to do? I replied calmly. I gave you every penny I made each month. Then you went on that Black Friday spree and made me borrow money from every corner of the internet. Don't I have to pay that back? Her voice turned into a wail. But you can't just sell my things, my designer bags, my jewelry. You even sold the bed. How am I supposed to sleep? Couldn't you think of another way? I don't care what you have to do. You get back here and buy everything back right now. I let out a cold laugh. That sounds like a you problem. What does it have to do with me? I told you I want a divorce. If you won't agree, I'll file the papers and we can settle it in court. I hung up and blocked her number. Unable to reach me, Clara started ambushing me in my office. One evening about 2 weeks later, I walked out of the building, and there she was blocking my path. What is it going to take, she demanded. It's been almost half a month. You won't come home. You sold all our things. And I haven't even held it against you. And you're still throwing a tantrum. She continued. I'm telling you, if you don't come home right now, this is your last chance. I will never forgive you. Looking at her, I just felt sick. Please don't ever forgive me and stop stalking me. Let's go to the courthouse tomorrow and sign the divorce papers. Clara stomped her foot in frustration. Why are you doing this? We had a perfectly good life, and you're throwing it away. The developer deal is happening. Our lives are about to get so much better, and you pick now to cause trouble. When I didn't respond, she gritted her teeth. Fine. Is it about the 2 small condos? Is that it? Fine. We'll get the one big one instead. Whatever you want. Are you happy now? Since you brought up the property, I finally had something to say. That property, I'm the one who saved it. I used my father's inheritance and my entire life savings to keep the bank from taking your family's home. Since we're getting a divorce, you need to pay me back. And since I know you don't have the money, you can sell the new condo you get and give me what you owe me. Clara transformed into a screeching harpy. You must be dreaming. That's my mother's house. The new condo is my mother's. How dare you even think about touching it? I couldn't help but laugh. I'm the one with my eyes on your property. Fine, we'll see you in court. I have the bank transfer records, and we can pull the courthouse records from when your mother first scheduled the appointment to sign the deed over to me before you stopped her. It's all documented. Since we're going to be in court for the divorce anyway, we can just handle this at the same time. Clara exploded. You psycho. You goddamn bastard. I married you because I thought you were a simple, honest man. I had no idea you were such a snake. I ignored her, hailed a cab, and left. All these years I'd worked myself to the bone, practically killing myself to make money. Yet I couldn't even afford a decent car. To be precise, it wasn't that I couldn't afford one. It was that Clara wouldn't let me buy one. She took my salary and bonuses every month and blew it on frivolous things. When I suggested we save up for a car, she shot me down. I don't drive, so why would we need a car? I barely go out anyway. And if I do, I can just take an Uber. I tried to reason with her, explaining how much running around my job required and how much a car would help. She just screamed at me for being wasteful and told me to buy a used electric scooter if I was so desperate. I grew up in a broken home. My father was a drunk who was always hard on me. All I ever wanted was the warmth of a happy family. The moment I fell in love with Clara, I swore I would spend my life treating her right. I thought if I was patient, gave in to her, and always put her first, I would eventually earn her love in return. But she just took my affection for granted and treated me worse and worse. And most hateful part, her never-ending drama with Jason. For all I knew, she'd already cheated on me. Thinking of this, I picked up my phone and dialed my lawyer's number. With renewed determination. Mr. Peterson, it's Ryan Hayes. Is everything ready for my divorce case? I want you to file tomorrow. Let's get this over with as quickly as possible. I want this divorce no matter what. I'd hired the best divorce attorney in the city, a man with a near-perfect win rate. Mr. Hayes, don't you worry, he reassured me. I'm very confident about your case. Just leave everything to me. I immediately put in a request with my company to lead a new market expansion project out of state. They approved it the next day. I packed my suitcase again and headed to a new city. Free from Clara's constant drama, my life became peaceful and, dare I say, happy. I could focus on my work. I was no longer at the beck and call of someone who didn't have a single caring bone in her body for me. I felt light. I left the entire divorce case in my lawyer's hands, and according to his updates, things were progressing smoothly. Then one day, about a month later, I got a call from the Willows. It was Margaret, my mother-in-law, on the line, her voice thick with tears. Ryan, why haven't you come to see me? I haven't seen you in so long. I miss you. There's no one to play with me, no one to take me for walks. Her voice cracked. I heard all over. I don't think I have much time left. Ryan, I want to see you. Don't you want your mama anymore? Margaret had always been good to me. She'd had a hard life, and this illness that clouded her mind had come too soon. My heart ached for her. I couldn't refuse Mama. I said gently, I've just been really busy with work. That's why I haven't visited. But tomorrow I'm free. I'll come see you first thing. Tomorrow is Saturday. I didn't have to work. It was the perfect time to visit. On the other end of the line, Margaret cheered like a child. Yay, yay. Ryan is coming to play with me tomorrow. Mama is happy. So happy. Hearing her joyful laughter, a smile touched my own lips. The next morning, I was on the earliest train back to the city. I went straight to the Willows. When Margaret saw me, she was as happy as a kid on Christmas morning, clapping her hands. Ryan, you came. I'm so happy, come on. Let's go play in the garden. She grabbed my hand, ready to pull me outside. Since her mind started to slip, she became more and more childlike in a way. I thought it was a blessing. She'd forgotten so much pain, and at least she could find moments of simple joy. I put down the nutritional supplements I brought and took her arm. Wait, she said. I have to pee first. I don't want to have to go when we're in the garden. I quickly called a nurse to help her to the restroom. But after waiting for a long time, only the nurse returned. Where's my mother-in-law? I asked. A woman came by. The nurse explained. The doctor said it was the patient's daughter. She said she wanted to take her mother up to the rooftop terrace to get some fresh air. Oh right, you're her son-in-law, aren't you? I wonder if that was your wife. Clara rarely visited, so it was no surprise the staff didn't recognize her. On a cold day like this, go to the rooftop for fresh air. A knot of dread formed in my stomach. I sprinted for the elevator. When I got to the roof, I saw them. Clara and Margaret were standing right at the edge of the building. Clara saw me first. A cold, cruel smile spread across her face. You got here fast. I knew. You cared more about my mother than you do about me. You liar, you hypocrite. You promised you'd love me forever. And now you're suing me. You're divorcing me. A terrible thought flashed through my mind. Clara, what are you doing? I yelled. My voice strained. Get your mother away from the edge. Come over here. We can talk downstairs. Her face was twisted with rage. You're the one who wants a divorce, right? You're the one trying to steal our family's home, right? You just want to drive us to our deaths. Don't you find we'll die? Mom and I will jump from right here, right in front of you. Then you'll finally be satisfied. What the hell is wrong with you? I shouted, a mix of anger and fear turning in my gut. That's your own mother. I'm not trying to steal your condo. I just want the money I'm owed. The wind whipped across the rooftop, howling in my ears. I was terrified Margaret would lose her footing and be swept over the edge. I was frantic. Okay, the condo. After it's sold, you only have to pay me back half of what I put in. The rest is yours. It's enough to buy a decent place. Just please bring your mom over here. Clara's voice was venomous. You're dreaming. You won't get a single penny. The condo will never be sold. It's mine, all mine. And another thing, Jason and I have never slept together. We're innocent. On what grounds are you divorcing me? To placate her, I had to give in. Fine, you keep it all. I don't want a dime. Is that what you want to hear? Now please get your mother away. From there, she pushed her advantage. Will you drop the divorce lawsuit? If you don't drop it, I'm still jumping with my mom. I hesitated for a second, then gritted my teeth. Fine, I'll drop it. Anything you say, whatever you want. Clara pointed a finger at me. Then call your lawyer right now. Tell him to withdraw the lawsuit. Okay, I'm doing it. I pulled out my phone and called Mr. Peterson, telling him to drop the case. After I hung up, Clara finally looked satisfied. Only then did she lead Margaret away from the ledge. I rushed forward, took Margaret's arm, and guided her quickly back to her room. Once there, I helped her lie down and get settled. Clara, who had followed us, spoke in a flat, indifferent tone. If my mom's tired, she knows I'll go to sleep. And it's not like there aren't nurses here. Come on, let's go home, she added. Thanks to you, the apartment is still completely empty. There's so much I need to buy. I ignored her completely. I walked out of the room and went straight to the facility director's office. I told him everything that had just happened and ended with a stern warning. Sir, this is a matter of life and death. I pay a significant amount for my mother-in-law's care. Here, if anything happens to her on your watch, you'll have a PR nightmare on your hands. No one will ever trust this facility again. The director looked pale and assured me, Mr. Hayes, you have my word. I will inform the front desk immediately. From now on, any time is Clara Carter visits, she will be monitored 360 degrees. This will not happen again. After speaking with the director, I returned to Margaret's room. Clara was leaning against the doorframe. When she saw me, she snapped. Where did you go? You didn't even tell me. You just ran off. I walked past her without a word. Margaret was sleeping peacefully. I gave a few last instructions to the nurse, then turned and left. Breaking into a run, Clara chased after me, but she was no match for my speed. I was on the train heading out of the city. Before she could catch me, My phone immediately started ringing, with calls from a dozen different, unknown numbers. I calmly popped out my old SIM card. As soon as I arrived to my new city, I went to a phone store and got a new number. Of course, my lawyer hadn't withdrawn the lawsuits. He knew how determined I was to get the divorce, and the panic tone of my voice on the phone had tipped him off that something was wrong. When he called back later to confirm, I told him to ignore my previous request and, in fact, to push the cases through as fast as possible. The lawsuits proceeded smoothly. We were nearing the final judgment when a video surfaced online. That was devastating for me. It was footage of the rooftop incident, edited to make me look like the aggressor. The person who posted it spread a false narrative that I was trying to steal my wife's family property and had driven her and her elderly mother to the brink of suicide. The video went viral. My colleagues and even my boss saw it, and it created a toxic atmosphere for me at work. I had my lawyer investigate the source of the video. He told me it was posted by Jason Ward. I had my lawyer contact Jason directly and tell him I wanted to meet. To my surprise, Jason agreed readily and showed up on time at the designated coffee shop. He swaggered in and slumped into the chair across from me. "What do you want?" I got straight to the point. "You know that spreading that doctored video is illegal, right? It's defamation. You can face serious legal consequences." Jason sneered. "What makes you so sure I posted it? Besides, if it didn't happen, how could there be a video? If you didn't do anything wrong, what are you so afraid of? You know the real story between me and Clara better than anyone." I pressed. "Don't you want to be with her? Once we're divorced, you two can be together forever. Isn't that what you want? Why would you try to sabotage the divorce now?" He barked like a cornered animal. "Of course I want you two to divorce. But on what grounds are you suing for the property? That condo is Clara's. It's her mother's asset, and it will be passed down to her. What right do you, an outsider, have to covet it?" Margaret wasn't even dead, and he was already talking about inheritance. His motives were crystal clear. I was done wasting my breath. "Jason, let's cut the crap. You know damn well I saved that property by paying off the mortgage. I basically bought it. All I'm asking for is the money I put in. That's fair, and the court will support it. Your smear campaign won't change the outcome of the property case." He thought he was clever. He leaned forward, trying to threaten me. "But you could just give it up, couldn't you? Just because the court gives it to you doesn't mean you have to take it. Drop a lawsuit. Divorce Clara, walk away from the condo, and pay her a nice chunk of alimony. If you do that, I'll take the video down and even post a retraction saying it was a deep fake. If you don't do what I say, your life is over." I just smiled at him, said nothing, stood up, and walked out of the coffee shop. Yelled after me, "Hey, Ryan, you really want to be dragged through the mud, don't you? I'm ready to hire a bot farm. It'll be everywhere. Even if you win the case, you'll be so disgraced. You won't be able to show your face in public." I ignored the online gossip and the suspicious glances from people around me. I just focused on my life and my work. It was fine, let them talk. The truth has a way of coming out eventually. Sure enough, a few weeks later, the judgment on my property case came down. I won that same day. I posted a photo of the court order online. I also released the full, unedited audio recording of my conversation with Jason in a coffee shop. My lawyer added the evidence he'd gathered, proving conclusively that Jason was behind the smear campaign. The tide of online hate against me vanished in an instant. People were furious at being manipulated and turned their collective rage on Jason. He was doxxed. His life turned inside out. He became a public pariah, afraid to even leave his apartment. I immediately filed another lawsuit, this time against Jason for defamation, seeking damages. The case had overwhelming public support, and with my evidence, the outcome was never in doubt. The divorce from Clara was finalized as well. I was finally free from the toxic people and their endless drama. My life was calm and peaceful. Then a phone call came that left me stunned. It was the Willows. They said my ex-mother-in-law, Margaret, was missing. Remembering all the kindness she had shown me, I dropped everything and rushed back to the facility. While I got there, I found Clara looking completely unbothered, filling out discharge paperwork for her mother. She was insisting that the facility didn't need to help search, claiming her mother was a grown woman who hadn't gotten lost and would eventually come back on her own. It clicked. I grabbed her arm. "Tell me the truth," I demanded, my voice low and dangerous. "You took her, didn't you?" Clara was defiant. She's my mother, not yours. We're divorced now. Remember, what does she have to do with you? Why are you still meddling? You want to find her, fine. Marry me again. I had reached my limit. Your mother is a seriously ill woman. I said each word a block of ice. Her mind is gone. She's like a child. How can you use her like this over and over again? She's your own mother. I knew. Margaret couldn't survive without professional care. I started following Clara, determined to find her. Clara didn't try to shake me. Instead, she just kept repeating her demand. Marry me again. Then she'll be your mother-in-law again. And you could be in charge of everything at home. We can be happy just like before. Wouldn't that be nice? I followed her to her apartment building, but stopped at the entrance. Where are you hiding, a sick old woman? Clara smiled a chilling, sinister smile. Come on in. She's in my apartment. Of course, we were divorced. I didn't want to set foot in that place ever again. But for Margaret's sake, I gritted my teeth and walked into the lion's den. I searched the entire apartment. She wasn't there. I turned on Clara, furious. Where is she? For the first time, Clara looked panicked. I don't know. She was right here when I left. Just then, her phone rang. It was Jason. He told her to come to the roof of the building and to bring me with her. The roof again. Alarm bells screamed in my head. I took off, flying up the stairs. Clara scrambling to keep up. On the roof, Jason was holding Margaret, pinning her at the very edge of the building. His eyes were bloodshot, his face a mask of madness. He howled at me like a cornered wolf. You bastard, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be in this mess. Look at my life. It's all your fault. If you don't compensate me, if you don't clear my name, I'll throw this old hag off the roof right now. The building was old, but it was still 8 stories high. I couldn't bear to imagine what would happen to Margaret. Clara completely lost it. Jason, you son of a bitch, she shrieked. I was good to you, and you're trying to kill my mother. Are you even human? Jason spat back with contempt. You're the one who's not human, you slut. Still dreaming about getting back with Ryan. What did you think? I was your secret lover on the side. You're not good enough. You think I'm some guy you could just play with? Clara screamed. I never even slept with you. How was I playing with you? Jason's face was murderous. So if we didn't sleep together, it wasn't a relationship. You were all over me, happy as a clam. And now you think you can just walk away. I didn't even get what I wanted. And you kicked me to the curb. But I wouldn't touch a cheap woman like you now anyway. If I don't get my money today after your mom is dead, you're next. Clara's face went white with rage. With a primal scream, she lunged at him. You bastard, I'll kill you. They began to grapple wildly at the edge of the roof. Seizing the moment, I rushed forward and pulled Margaret to safety. Before I could even process what was happening, there was a sickening thud. Jason had gone over the edge. Clara, the one who had pushed him, stood frozen, completely catatonic. She started pulling at her hair, muttering over and over. It wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. Still chanting, she turned and ran, disappearing from my sight. She didn't make it out of the complex. Someone in a neighboring building had seen Jason dragging Margaret to the roof and had already called the police. An ambulance arrived quickly and took Jason to the hospital. They managed to save his life, but his spine was shattered. He will be paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of his life. Clara was arrested for aggravated assault. Jason refused to sign a plea deal or accept any settlement. So, she was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Perhaps it was a mother's intuition. But the day Clara was incarcerated, the still confused Margaret was admitted to the ICU. I took a month off work to be by her side every day, but her condition never improved. Not long after, Margaret passed away. Swallowing my grief, I handled her funeral arrangements. Just as I was preparing to return to my job, out of state, a lawyer contacted me. It turned out that before she got sick, Margaret had drawn up a will. In it, she left all of her assets to me. So I inherited the large condo from the redevelopment deal. As for Clara, the day she learned of her mother's death, she killed herself in her prison cell. She left a letter for me. She wrote that she knew I would never love her again, and that she had driven the one person who truly loved her to her death. She was filled with a regret so profound that she no longer had any desire to live in this world. In the letter, she confessed her sins over and over, apologizing for the pain she had caused me and the people who loved her. She wrote that she was going to hell to atone.